I know for a lot of women, this time of life can come with some really challenging emotions, mainly anxiety and depression. This video, though, I want to talk about some tips and daily rituals and practices that you can do to feel less heavy, to have that depression lift. There's a reason why this happens. And from an Ayurvedic perspective, anxiety, depression, these are all imbalances that can originate in the digestive tract. So if we're producing a lot of toxins from the food we're eating because we have a weak digestion, so how do you know you have a weak digestion? You're going to feel, if you have a weak digestion, you're going to experience some gas, some bloating, maybe heartburn, feeling tired after you eat, feeling heavy, feeling lethargic, and developing food intolerances and food allergies even. So if you're experiencing any of these, I was going to say, I just thought of someone, a woman in my program who described it as she felt like she had no sparkle, just this kind of dullness. And I've heard all these different variations on what this heaviness, this depression feels like from women that I've worked with over the past years. Is it feels like mud. It feels like a cloud. It feels, I had another woman say she felt like she was in the swamp and just could never get out. She was constantly just sinking back into the mud. Just know that if you are feeling these feelings, you're not alone. You're absolutely not alone. But also know that you don't have to feel this anymore. There are ways, natural and simple ways, to come out of this darkness, this muddy feeling, this heavy feeling. And this video is a short video, but I want to just touch on a few daily practices that you can do to start putting one foot in front of the other towards finding your joy again. And as anyone who knows me, this is my definition of Ayurveda. It's how to find your joy again. For me, when I got rid of all my symptoms, the physical stuff, the hot flashes, the hair loss, the skin issues, the indigestion, all those, when all those went away, it was wonderful. I'm not going to deny it. But to be honest, the best part of Ayurveda for me was I was happy. I found my joy again. And to me, there's a big difference between feeling happy and feeling joy. Happy to me is something outside of us happens and then we feel happy. Like, oh, that made me feel happy. That was fun. Joy, on the other hand, is this internal well of feeling joyful. It's blissful. It's something that you can internally regulate. You can choose joy once you know how to do that. And that's a game changer. It was in my life when I could choose to feel joy and I wasn't dependent on something outside of me causing me to feel this. I could do it on my own. Does that mean I feel joyful 100% of the time? No. We're human. We have the range of emotions. But for the most part, I feel really good. I feel happy. I feel very grateful. So let's get into a few tips that we can do to find our joy again. And the first one I know is going to be met with some resistance, but it really is necessary in order to start feeling lighter and less heavy. We want to get up, wake up, and get up before 6 a.m. There's a reason for this. Between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. is a certain period in the Ayurvedic clock that is kind of heavy. And if we're sleeping into this heavier period, then we're going to feel groggy. I don't know, I'm sure a bunch of you have had this experience where you wake up, you feel pretty good, you feel pretty awake, and then you fall back asleep, and when you wake up the second time, you feel so groggy, so tired, so off your game, and it lasts the whole day. You just can't shake it. And when I learned why this happens because of this time period between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., it made a lot of sense. We want to wake up and look or go outside. We don't have to go out for a run right away, but we want to look. We want to have the sunlight or the natural light, even if it's cloudy, directly in our eyes to start producing serotonin. Because the earlier we can get the serotonin in our eyes, the better we're going to be able to fall asleep and stay asleep that night. The melatonin is going to kick in more. So serotonin wakes you up in the morning, and melatonin puts you to sleep at night. This is really good to remember that when you wake up, find a window, go outside, get that natural light right into your eyes. Another thing we want to do is really commit to eating unprocessed foods. So toxins in packaged food make us feel heavy and depressed. They're not uplifting toxins. They're there to preserve the food. And food should be alive. And it doesn't have to be all the time. We're not perfect. We're not meant to just eat perfectly every day, every moment. But on a majority, the cleaner our food is, the less pesticides on our food, the fresher, more alive our food is, that's actually how we're going to feel fresh and alive. If we're eating a lot of packaged foods that don't have a lot of energy, we're going to feel pretty lethargic and kind of just packaged, not very vibrant. So always make the choice when you have a choice to eat fresh foods. Another thing that really helps is, and there's so many studies on this now, is the benefit of exercise, especially exercise that gets your heart pumping and you're getting that air into your lungs. It triggers so many beneficial chemical processes in your body when you're getting enough exercise. And I know when you're feeling down and heavy, this is actually the last thing you feel like doing is moving your body. It's medicine. It rivals so many of the antidepressant drugs, and there's many studies to show this, just how important and beneficial exercise and fresh air is for depression. And of course, this is Ayurveda, and because this is Ayurveda, this is a holistic approach to not only physical but emotional symptoms and imbalances. And that's why meditation is, to me, it's the number one way to help calm your nervous system with anxiety and to help uplift your mood if you're having depression. Now, you can actually have both. I've worked with many women, and there's many women in the online program where they have anxiety and depression. It's a kind of a dual thing going on. And so meditation, how does it work for depression? Studies have shown that when you meditate and you quiet that busy mind, or you kind of tune into that silence. In that silence is, it's hard to describe it, but in that silence, when you get there, is a lot of healing. It's the only way to describe it. When we meditate, we produce chemicals that heal our nervous system, that balance our mood, that bring us joy. Oxytocin goes up when you meditate. Serotonin goes up. The dopamine, like all of these things, these chemical mood regulators increase when we meditate. And don't worry if you don't feel that blissful feeling when you meditate. That's not the purpose of meditation. It's just to try. You don't even actually try. You just make the daily commitment to sit with yourself. And eventually, over time, those periods of non-thinking, those periods of silence increase more and more, and they get longer and longer, and we can actually feel who we really are when the mind kind of quiets down. It doesn't happen overnight. It took me, I meditate daily because to me, my meditation every day is my medicine, not just for my physical body, but for my emotional well-being as well. So I just want you to know that you are loved, you are not alone, and that the depression that you're feeling or this heaviness isn't you. It's just an imbalance. Like any imbalance can be relieved, can be removed so that you can feel your joy again.